Coach Mooney, are
Yes.
all the Spiders healthy and available for Davidson's visit?
Yes.
All right. Would you anticipate playing 18 A10 games?
Well, I feel like in our situation, we missed 2 games at this point. We have 2 bye weeks built in. I think 2 games, maybe even 3, would be enough to make up if everybody was in the same exact situation. So at this point, I think we can get to 18. Richmond. Teams that miss more than 3. I don't know if anybody's missed more than 3. Maybe St. Bonaventure, George Mason. I think that could be a challenge. Just how many games are you willing to play in a week, and how many games can you get to fairly? You know, we're in a position we can get to some schools pretty easily. Not everybody's in that situation, so I would say I anticipate that we can, if there are no more postponements, that we will be able to for Richmond.
Richmond has an 8-day break scheduled after Davidson leaves town. Would you anticipate one or more of those games fitting in there?
I do anticipate that. We have an 8-day break. Like next week, you mean?
14th
Yeah,
through
exactly.
22nd.
Yeah, yes, I do anticipate that we'll be able to reschedule at least one of those games in that week.
Is there do they take, like, what's the priority of how they're rescheduled? Is it just basically whenever you're both available, or do they try to go back to the first game you missed and play that first, or not?
I don't know. I don't know the process of that. I don't know what the process is, how they do that.
The league will just tell you, hey, they're coming.
Yeah, and I think it's it's spoken about, and the league of course knows everybody's schedule, and then I think they talk about both schools, what works, travel, So I think they talk about it. I don't think they dictate it, but I think they do talk about it, and they identify where the game might be able to be made up.
In a perfect world, you get how many hours or days notice of that?
Well,
Is there a cutoff? Like,
well,
like 48 hours and they won't?
No, I don't know. Last year was so different. Now, I don't know if they have anything to protocol to prevent a last minute, addition.
Friday is Nick's night celebration, Nick Sherrod. Would you start him in recognition of that, or not necessarily?
I didn't know it was Nick's night, so it's good to know now. I have not thought about it since you asked it seconds ago, John.
All right. Impressions of Davidson, perhaps overachieving to this point.
Well, a great team.
Based on the preseason play.
Yeah, great team, great program and coach. They play a terrific style. Their guys, they can attract good players, or their guys improve while they're there, and they compete. And so it's not surprising to me. Lawyer has been excellent. Lee's one of the best players in our conference. Brakovitz is a great big guy. So yeah, it's not surprising to me. And I think I couldn't think more highly of a program.
How did the Spiders endeavor to stay sharp during this 9-day break?
Well, it's different than last year. Last year we were, the guys were locked in a room for 10 days or 12 days or whatever it was, with food being left on the floor outside their door. So this year is different in that we were together and we were able to lift weights and run and scrimmage. So we tried to make sure we had different practices, but that we were out on the court most days, shooting, going over situations at times, but different kind of practices, so that the guys weren't bored or frustrated with the lack of an opponent coming. It's refreshing not to have to do a scouting report and work on ourselves for a little bit. But yeah, we just try to do different things, but while being out on the floor.
With these games coming up in bunches, presumably, do you have an expectation that the Spiders' depth may pay off in this kind of deal?
Yes, I do. I think that if that is a strong suit of our team, and it's something that we need to utilize even better. It's hard. There's a certain amount of only a certain amount of minutes in the game, but I think if we got to a point where we played a couple 3 games in 6 days situations, I do think our depth could really play a big part in that.
You mentioned Lawyer. Do you have an impression of him yet? Obviously, he's new to the league, but an accomplished player.
Yeah, really good. I mean, he's a great shooter, very crafty, great change of speed. He kind of has a lot of the qualities that a Davidson player would have. And then he's competitive. He shoots great, very savvy. And seems to have fit in seamlessly with how they play.
As a team that has struggled at times in the first half this year, and coming off a layoff that you weren't anticipating, how important is the first 5 minutes Friday night?
Yeah, very important. It's probably not quite as important as the last 5 minutes, but it's very important. And some of that is, if I said, how did Duke's Leitner team do in the first 5 minutes, nobody would know or remember or care. But it is important that you approach the game the right way, that you have the right energy, that you're not surprised by anything, that you're attacking the game. And it's not, if you start slowly by the scoreboard, that doesn't mean you didn't do those things necessarily. But it is important from that standpoint, is that you attack the game and you're as ready to play as possible, and you bring as much energy as you can in those first few possessions.
Coach Mooney, during this layoff, did you emphasize a particular thing?
The first 5 minutes of the game, no. You know what? Yes, John. We talked. Defensively, some things that we feel like we're close to being pretty good at. A couple of things in ball screen coverage. And then just some special situations that show up during the course of the game, which we're pretty good about practicing daily. But it was a chance for us to go through some of those and make sure we were on the same page with what we're doing in case we don't have a timeout, that kind of thing.
How ready is Richmond given the layoff and the quality of opponent coming in?
I think we're pretty ready. Time will tell. We'll see Friday, but we're excited. Get a good team, probably the hottest team in the conference. Have a chance to play a good Davidson team at home with the students back. So we're excited.
The roster of quality point guards in the league is long. I wonder what your impressions are of Foster Lawyer, who comes in here, new name, but pretty good darn player.
Yeah, no, definitely a good player. He's he definitely fits well in the Davidson offense. I think he was pretty good at Michigan State. He's really good now. Just one of the many good guards we have in the conference for sure.
Hey, did you keep the ball that you stole at Northern Iowa that set the record?
Am I allowed to say that I did take it? Yeah, I have it.
What happens to it? Do you have plans for it, or has it been put on the shelf or given to somebody? Or
it's in a case. It's actually in my room right now. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get it home, but I definitely have the ball, yeah. I didn't know if I was allowed to take it or not.
Hey, if based on the time you had to, as a team, practice between the last game and this upcoming game, if you were the coach, what would have topped your priority list and things to work on?
Staying ready. I think, obviously given the fact that, you have some time off, guys want to kind of relax and, kind of just take it for what it is, as if it's a week off. But, I think we stayed in the gym, we stayed competitive. Our starters usually don't practice too much during the workload of a regular week. And so we were able to get out there and compete, which was really good for us.
You guys can't help but have some preconceived notions about your opponents heading into a season based on what you did last year, based on who they lost or whatever. With Davidson, are they a little bit better than you thought they might be this year when you watch them on film? And if so, where are they better?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good. I think losing Kellen and still having the success that they're having is really impressive. For any team to lose a first-teamer, I think most teams think they're going to struggle, but they've picked it up. Obviously, like we talked about a little bit with Foster, he's really good. They've got pieces. They play hard. They're pretty deep. I think they play 8 guys consistently, which is really good for them, but they're definitely a really good team.
Is it obviously being at home is a big advantage, but even having to sit through this layoff that you're sitting through, would you prefer to get out on the road and just say, yeah, listen, we're not going to be the one, we're not the problem here, we're going to go play, but being home, how much more does it help?
I don't know if if the week off is ever good or bad for anybody, it's hard to tell. You know, you want to say you want the rest, but then you say you're rusty. It's a little tough. But you know, to get the students back in here, I think is going to be great for us. The environment should be great. A really good Davidson team. You know, we're excited.
For a team that has had its troubles starting in the first half this year, I mean, how apprehensive are you about a layoff like this and coming out against a good team? What's got to be the first thing that you guys take care of in the first 5 minutes Friday night?
Yeah, we got to come out aggressive. You know, it's not just about making shots. We got to get stops. I mean, against any team, but especially Davidson, you know, they'll make you pay in the first 5 minutes, and after that, it might be tough for anybody to come back. So we definitely have to come out and play. Our start is crucial.
How significant was the UMass win on the heels of the first 2 conference losses, and the UMass win, knowing that you'd be sitting on that one way or the other for 9 days?
You know, first conference win, definitely big time for us. Needed it. Wish we would have played a better second half, but you know, to have a win going into what was a lot of days off is definitely good to sit on for sure.
Did anything good come out of the St. Joseph's game?
No, I don't think so.
Attitude adjustment, motivation, anything along those lines?
Definitely a little bit of motivation for sure. I think a lot of teams or a lot of people are counting us out. But I think they were counting us out before the St. Joe's loss anyway. So, you know, it is what it is for us.